Hello, my friends. Today is April the 16th, and this is a reading for you if this is your birth date. This is a four-card pull to cover the year to follow, a general energy card, a challenge card, an action to take to stay in balance, and an outcome or synopsis card. Approximately 7 to 10 minutes, so hang in there with me, please. This is the general energy card of the year, the eternal child. There's that inner child part of ourselves, I think, that wants to play and wants to nix all the rules and wants to go have fun and wants to explore the mysteries and find the magic and keep being on the adventure and keep finding the love and the play and the joy and the bliss of being. And that eternal child inside of us doesn't want to be weighed down, by rules and regulations and societies and aging bodies and those things that can have a tendency to vanquish the enthusiasm, vanquish the optimism, vanquish the joy of the everyday moment that the eternal child, the inner child, really can talk to us about. And we all need this inner child, but how much this eternal child, how much do we let this eternal child play in the world? How much do we let this eternal child, love and live and dance and joy and have adventure in this world? Or do we keep uh, locking it away in boxes, other people's boxes, with choices that we often think are the only boxes we have available to us? And we have to hide our inner child, and we pull back our eternal child and its optimism, and we hold back that joy of adventure and spark and connection to the sacred that the eternal child carries in its persona, in its charisma, in its bliss of being. And I think that's the eternal child, is that bliss of being that we so easily forget about as humans as we go along and often feel like we're in a drudge, or we're living our lives and there's not much change, and we're just stuck in our work, and we're stuck in ourselves, and can't get outside of our minds, and we can't get outside of our fears, and we can't get outside of our children's minds and fears, and we can't get outside of our wives and husbands' minds and fears, and societies and schools and everybody else's and churches' minds and fears. So this is your particular challenge, April the 16th, people. Two of Wands. It is exactly that. How to remember. The challenge is to remember that you're a sacred being, and you need to have life and vitality that is not just about your everyday drudgery. You need to connect into the spirit of things, but there's a challenge to connecting into the spirit of things. There's a challenge to, letting go and finding some kind of life, some kind of adventure, something that connects you excitedly to your passion once more, something that pulls up your eternal child, your inner child. It's often we forget as we grow that we had passions and missions and dreams and joys as a child, and oftentimes we were told, no, you can't do that, or no, you're a woman, you can't do that, or no, you're unable to do that, no, you just don't have the mind to do that, no, you just don't have you're a klutz, you're inept, all the negative words that we've ever been told can wipe the eternal child out and make it afraid to show itself and make it feel like it's not valued. But your inner child, I think, is calling. Your eternal child is calling. Your challenge is to feel that child again and to allow yourself to play and do something different and find some other kind of spark, and reconnect yourself to the sacred and the divine that's within you. That's not about other people, and it's not about other people's thoughts. It's about your own soul and your own thoughts and your own sense of the sacred and your own sense of your connection to divinity and the things that give you divinity. So I think sometimes the Two of Wands, the challenge is also that we can fall into those things that just make us feel okay for the moment, make us feel better for the moment, and spark us to play. That's when uh, drugs come in. That's when alcohol comes in. That's when these doing these things that excite us, that give us a little thrill in our lives, that can be dangerous for us, when taken to extremes. That's this card is often when that kind of stuff shows up. So your challenge, I think, is to stay away from things that are going to bring you farther down, even if they're going to bring you momentary upliftment, and to journey into a new place and to jump into a new land that says, I want to be positive, I want to be healed, I want to be connected to my spirit. I don't want to do things that shut me off from my spirit, that pull me down into depression, that lock me away into another box that I don't really want to be in. Am I trading one jail cell for another jail cell? You have to think about that right now. You don't want to jump in from one jail cell into another jail cell that's going to even further limit your eternal child at some point. But sometimes, boy, that sweetness of just tasting anything outside of the box can be a real challenge to stay away from. So, be gracious with yourself, be honest with yourself, be caring to yourself, and think about, where this is going to take you. And, sometimes you just do need to leap into some kind of adventure that others might think is stupid, is folly, is full of foolishness, is full of optimism that you can't unbridle. And sometimes you do have to jump into those adventures, and that's your action, the swan. You're the ugly duckling right now, and you haven't become the beautiful swan that you need to be, and you need to jump into the whirlpool of life and face your own fears and live your own dreams and find your own way and come out the other side as the pure white swan of grace and beauty and high spirituality and great connection. That's the path for you. Don't give yourself away. Allow yourself to jump. Allow yourself to get out of your box and jump into the whirlpool, jump into the eddy, and don't give yourself away. Look for the purity, the white of this gown, the white of the swan. There's a sense that you really crave the pure inner child, the pure inner joy, the pure inner bliss of that magical child that you once allowed yourself to be. And you can find that again. You just got to keep remembering it and keep aiming toward it and keep allowing it and keep opening your heart and keep opening your senses and keep exploring the divinity of life and step off into, those magic places that give you empowerment and don't take your power away from you, where you can, final card, where you can create as you wish to create and not by someone else's design and not by someone else's choice of what you are allowed to say. You're coming to a place where you can really, I think, live your truth in a better way and live your joy in a better way and find it in ways that are tangible to you and work with it in ways that give you joy and let other people see your joy and your bliss and your eternal child. But it's going to take, the balancing of these energies and not giving your power away. So there it is. Blessed be to being the ugly duckling on the journey, going through the eddy to becoming the white, beautiful swan and not giving yourself away to things that are going to bring you down and make you, drown in the eddy. You don't want to drown. You don't want to have more problems. You want to be free. So kind of analytical and logical eternal child wisdom, play the games, play the numbers, but keep playing your soul, keep opening your soul, keep speaking your truth, keep finding your own visions and your own dreams this year.